Hey guys, what's going on? Absolutely Beast here, bringing you guys a race on Forza 6 with the Ferrari F333, the SP, which stands for Sport Prototype. So this was an entry that Ferrari had into the Sport Prototype racing series, which they had been absent for about 20 years, and this car debuted in about 1994. Was a very popular car, or a successful car, but because they introduced it kind of like mid-season, they weren't able to win any of the significant championships. The best guy on the Ferrari team ended up placing like 5th overall or something. So I've got some more Forza 7 on tap for you guys, but first I just wanted to say I'm so grateful for the support from you guys. I've seen quite an increase in the amount of views I've been getting these last couple weeks when I've been doing these Forza 7 videos, and I'm just super excited about that. You know, I know a lot of that has to do with the just sort of lack of content out there right now about Forza 7, and you know, just to answer something, I don't know that anybody has actually asked me this, but the reason I'm not using, you know, I'm using all this Forza 6 gameplay is because, you know, this is what I play a lot of, and I'm not, you know, the gameplay is already out there for Forza 7. You know, I'm not gonna take it and put it up. I don't want to risk, you know, getting a copyright strike or something like that for using other people's footage. I'm not sure how the rights work to that footage, and you know, I haven't seen anything from Turn 10 saying that it's okay to use that stuff. So yeah, anyway, I did a search on YouTube, just, you know, simple Forza 7, and of the first 50 videos, 50, only 8 of them were uploaded within the last 2 weeks. 42 of them were 2 weeks ago or longer, and 2 of those 8 were not even about Forza 7. One of them was a series called Road to Forza 7, where a guy's been racing the different games, and then another one was some guy riding in a real car, which I don't know why that had to do with Forza 7. I mean, I didn't watch them, but just saying, 42 out of 50 videos that came up, the first 42 out of 50 that came up, were not uploaded in the last 2 weeks. So there seems to be sort of a, you know, a lack of footage out, a lack of information out there. Now, you know, to be fair, you know, the things I'm going to report today are not necessarily new things, but I just sort of went through and made like an itemized list of some of the stuff that I wanted to talk about, because I keep missing some stuff here and there, so I want to be really thorough. I did pre-order the game just tonight, so got the deluxe version, so I'm all set with that. So make sure you guys are watching out if you want to see some actual racing footage and some early stuff. You know, make sure you check back. I believe it comes out the 28th now for me. September 28th, so otherwise October 3rd for everybody else, but since I did get the early deluxe edition, I do get it 5 days early, so start looking for content on the, I guess it's 28th at 10 p.m., so either 28th or 29th, that, you know, whenever I can get something up, I'll surely be putting something up, so I'll make sure you guys check out for that. You know, I just want to address this too. There's lots of, a lot of the videos I watched today were much smaller videos, you know, kind of like myself, but a lot of them didn't have actual like hard knowledge. They were, or hard facts. They were just sort of like speculation, and a lot of them were just flat out wrong. You know, I mean, like one guy was talking about how you know, the Lamborghini Centenario was going to be the cover car and stuff, and I'm just like, you know, man, like, I get that people want to put stuff out there when there's nothing out there. I completely understand that, because that's kind of what I've been doing, but you know, you can't put false information out there. You can't, and you can, but you have to say, like, this is, you know, I'm just speculating here. You can't just, you know, treat it as if it's a fact. And also, I've seen a lot of people talking about this game compared to Forza Horizon 3, especially even some of the interviews I saw with smaller channels that they had with Dan Greenewalt, you know, creative director of Forza. So he used to be creative director for Turn 10 Studios, and then he got a promotion, I'm guessing, to be, you know, I just totally lost what I was saying, creative director. But I believe once Forza Horizon started getting popular, I really kind of put him to that too. So, you know, Forza Horizon 3 is not Forza Motorsport. So all the people that are like making these comparisons about, like, asking him questions like, oh, I saw this in Horizon 3, is that coming to Forza Motorsport 7? I mean, guys, it's a completely different studio, you know? It's not the same studio. That's not to say that they won't share the Forza name, so they're not going to take a few lessons they've learned from Horizon and bring them over into Motorsport, but they're not the same game. They're not comparable. Just because they both say Forza, I mean, the other one's 30 frames per second, and you can drive off-road in Lamborghinis and just, you know, it's an open-world racing game. That's nothing like this game. So, In that respect, that's just been kind of bothering me that everybody's been talking about that. But yeah, so dive right into it. Kind of talking about the career. Just sort of, the career is something that I haven't focused a ton on. But there's a lot of implications in the career that transfer over into other parts of the game. So they're calling it the Forza Drivers' Cup, which is basically their new career, and it's going to be a bunch of series. And they said they don't want to confine people to racing it. Oh man, yeah, I got a little feisty with this guy here because he was just, he was not being nice to me. I know it's just a Dravatar, but still. So. But I kept wrecking myself in the process of trying to take him out, so... Again, this is career racing, so this is not me taking people out or condoning taking people out. In fact, just the opposite. I'm just saying that, in the career, sometimes I get frustrated, when I'm playing with the high-level assists and I'm trying to race against all these drivers and I'm struggling just to, like I'm being a couple seconds faster a lap than all these other cars, but then they're just, pulling crap like that, and it's just blocking me in and taking the wrong line, and it gets really frustrating, so... but yeah, so they're calling it the Forza Drivers' Cup. It's going to be the series, and they said they don't want to confine us to racing the way we've always raced. They don't want us to necessarily have to start in like the E class, like the lowest class, and then progress your way up, and 50 races later you're in X class, or something like that. So there's going to be a lot of customization as far as like starting where you want. The driver suits, what they're talking about, and it seems to me that a lot of these are going to be unlocked through the career. They also mentioned that at the end of the career there's going to be a large reward that would keep you coming back for more, which is kind of interesting. Kind of makes me think that there's, something fun, basically saying like you could come back and replay the career. But yeah, so there'll be some driver suits. It seems like most of the stuff is going to be coming from the career. And one of the ones I forgot to mention the other day, which is so epic, and I absolutely will be rocking this, is a leisure suit. Those of you who don't know what a leisure suit is, think 70s like disco. And, think about, if you've ever seen the movie Christmas Vacation, think about what Cousin Eddie wears. It's absolutely hilarious to think about being able to drive around in one of those. They talked about a chef suit also, which also is so cool. But yeah, so it seems like a lot of those are going to be coming from the career. They said 300 items available. Obviously, if you're talking like glasses and hats and face coverings and suits, that there's probably not going to be, there's not 300 full suits, but... it's just something to keep in mind. That sounds like fun. So the career is going to be fully customizable. Like I said, so you can start anywhere. You can start at the highest level if you want. You can start at the lower level if you want. You can start at the mid-range. And it's going to be really customizable. You can actually change the length of any race you want. So you can actually, if you wanted to, you can make the career all endurance races. And you could make all your races like an hour long if you wanted. If you were someone that wanted to just go really hardcore and make it more like a professional type driving situation, or the opposite, for someone kind of like me. I'm not a huge fan of the career modes generally. I do them for all the achievements and stuff, and they're kind of fun, but I'm not usually a huge fan of those. But then, for me also, they said you could make it like a real sprint type situation where you just go through and do all the races, and yeah, just kind of do them all real short and just unlock a bunch of cars real quick and whatever, which seems really cool. Which, like I said, endurance races. So endurance races are going to be back, which is something that, again, there was in Forza 2. That's actually how I got started with this car, was I drove this car on this track, the 12 hours of Sebring, which, wasn't actually 12 hours, but the long race of Sebring, like 40, 50 laps or something. And that's just stuck with me, for 10 years since I played it. And that's why this was one of the first cars I ever drove when I played Forza 5, and this is kind of why Sebring became my go-to track. So that was cool. Showcase events are coming back, which, the showcase events are basically what I'm doing here, which is how I've gotten, 2 weeks worth of footage of new cars that I haven't raced before, because they're, they're just like one-off type events. And actually they talked about showcase specific cars, which are cars that you can only unlock by completing certain showcases. So, a lot of like sort of exclusivity where you're rolling around and you're rolling around a multiplayer and you see someone driving a car and you go, dude, that's such a sweet car, and you've never seen it before, you've only seen it one other time, and you'll know that person's completed a certain showcase. You get that, which I think is really cool. And same with the driver suits. Talking about, sort of like these exclusive type suits where you'll know just by people's suits, and they said a lot of stuff has to do with collecting cars. So you'll know by suits that someone has either a ton of cars, or they got a huge garage, or they went really far in the career. So I lost somehow a couple seconds of footage here, so pardon this, weird hiccup jump right here. But it's only a couple seconds, like 4 seconds, so. There's a new camera angle, which I forgot to talk about in the video the other day, which is, it's a cockpit view, but it's a wheel-less cockpit. So it's the same as the cockpit, but instead of being able to see the driver's hands in the wheel, it's just, you move forward like 1.5 feet, 2 feet, so you can't see the wheel, which I think is actually really cool. Sometimes I find that seeing the wheel a little bit distracting. Because, even if you're driving in a real car, like, you don't really see your own wheel. That's just kind of weird, but that's pretty cool. And speaking of wheels, they also forgot to talk about this. They're having tons of support for wheels. Personally, I don't like wheels. I think they kind of defeat the purpose of playing the video game, because, then it's just like a real, actual driving thing, and I don't think I could play the game for more than an hour or two at a time with a wheel, and I love playing for a couple hours at a time, so playing with a wheel is not an option for me. But for those of you that like wheels, they're offering a ton of support. He said they went back and they went all the way back to wheels from years and years and years ago to make sure that everything worked and was compatible. And in fact, so much so, even the PS4 wheels are compatible. He said, for someone that wants to go play on PC, if they already have that peripheral, they already have that wheel, they'll be able to use that and play with that. That was important to them. And then even the craziest one is they actually were able to play, they talked about setting it up at their studio, where one of them was playing on a Guitar Hero guitar, and one of the other guys was playing on a DDR Dance Dance Revolution pad. He was actually racing on that, which is crazy. First of all, no one would ever do that, but second of all, that's how far they went to make sure that pretty much any peripheral could work with the game, which I thought was cool. Again, I'm not a personal fan of wheels. I don't like them at all, but I support the right for people to use the wheel if that's what they want to do. I just much prefer a controller. I feel like there's a lot more precision, especially with my Elite controller. It's got really good precision. So they talked a lot about physics first, which we've talked about sometime, but Dan Greenwald was just really adamant about physics first, and then everything else second. So as good as the graphics are going to look, as many cars as there are, that kind of stuff, physics first. Now just a real quick note, kind of a mini follow-up to my video yesterday, Project Cars, or 2 days ago, Project Cars. So Forza 7 is going to have over 700 cars. Project Cars 2, at this point, has a confirmed car load of 189 cars. So that is a massive difference. Absolutely massive. And yeah, about 30 tracks, and over 200 different variations of those tracks. So I'm super looking forward to it. So like I said, I pre-ordered the game, so make sure you guys check back. I'll keep trying to bring you everything that I find on Forza, as I've been doing so far. And make sure you subscribe so you don't miss anything. Guys, again, thank you for the support. It's been really great recently. I appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much. Have a good one.